what it is. Well,
so I've had 7 years of trouble-free riding on my bike. I've done several 200 miles a day off-road trips, never had an issue. Last couple times, I've had a couple things happen. Last time I was out, had a nail go through my tire. I run a tubeless system. The nail went all the way in and put a hole in the bladder, so I pretty much had to ride about 5 miles on a flat tire. So I solved that problem. I put a moose in it for the next time out. So here we're up in the mountains heading towards the desert, just hitting some fire roads to get to the trail we wanted to go on. Get a lot of traffic up here on the weekends. Most cars just stop and let you by. They hear you, obviously. But I don't know what was going on with this Prius. I don't know if he was dodging dips and holes in the road, or if he's just being a jerk. I don't know. All I know is I don't think there's any reason for him to drive like he was driving. So I just had to wait for my opportunity to get around him. So that's what most of the cars do when they hear a bike. They just pull over and let you go by. I always try to wave at them and give them a kind gesture and say thanks. So the plan was to ride all the way down into the high desert while it was still cool in the morning, and then go ride up in the higher elevations later in the day when it got hotter. I really like this area here. It's not mountain, it's not desert. Makes you feel like you're in an old western movie in the Ponderosa. Coming up here, we decided to take a little break under this nice shady tree, and that's when the problem started. Bike shut off, no problem, like it normally does. It had been running fine. And then when I went to start it, I moved about 2 feet and it died. Tried it a couple more times, same thing happened, so backed it up into the shade and decided to try to figure out what was going on.
Fine. I started it and it just went for a second, and then see if I hear the fuel pump.
So the first thing I did was listen for the fuel pump, and that was working. So my next step was to clean the fuel filter on it. So I just have an aftermarket fuel filter. It has like a little disc in it, so I just took that out of the system. Once I did that, it would start, but when you just blip the throttle, it would die. If I rolled the throttle on real slow, it would stay running. So we made the decision to just ride it back. I figured I would just try to stay on the throttle and not let it die. We're about 10 miles from the road, so we weren't too far away, but I figured I'd just try to make it back.
Ride it back. Yeah, I think the fuel injector's clogged. Huh? I think maybe the fuel injector's having an issue. Yeah. So you can nurse it back. Yeah, I think if I stay on it. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Injector. Know what they call it? Yeah.
So the bike was actually running good as long as I stayed on it. It seemed like it was back to its normal self. So I thought I'd stop here. I thought, well, if it's running good, we'll go back and hit the trails we wanted to hit. But when I stopped and hit the throttle, it died again, and it kind of had a hard time starting back up. So once it got running, I just hit it and decided to make it back as quick as I could. So right here we came upon a group of Broncos. Normally I just kind of pull over and let them all go by, but I kind of wanted to keep the bike running. Didn't want to take a chance on it stalling and not starting again.
Got a bunch of Broncos coming at you.
Kind of hard to see up here, but there was a side-by-side going sideways around the corners up in front of me. You can see a little bit of the dust up there. So called back to my buddy to warn him in case the guy was on his side of the road.
Got a side-by-side coming at you fast. I don't know if you can hear me. Look out for him behind the Broncos, but he'll probably pass them.
So, made it back to civilization, just hopped on the pavement, go back to where I had the truck staged. made it all the way there. Didn't really feel like towing the bike or riding back and getting the truck and loading it up. So now that I'm safely back, I had to get it back to the shop and try to figure out what was wrong. Here's what would happen. So I did check to make sure the vent was clear for the fuel tank. So I left the key on and the bike started dripping gas. And then inside the air box, it's full of gas. Gotta find out where that's coming from. So I did find a hole in the spark plug tube. We'll see if that's the problem. I had the spark plug out so I could back the motor down to get the fuel out of it, and I decided I might as well go ahead and check the valves. I like this little tool for checking the valves, makes it really easy. And they were in spec. They basically haven't moved since I bought the bike. I more or less don't check them anymore. So with the throttle screw backed out all the way, it's supposed to be 0.400. And I'm at 0.394. That's with the throttle blade completely closed. So let me adjust that a little bit. So this is where you adjust the TPS right here. Loosen this screw up, and if the other side isn't too tight, you can move it. Otherwise, you got to take off this bracket, loosen the other screw too. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. Okay, that was a pain, but it's pretty much perfect. So we know that's in the right position, the TPS. Alright, let's try starting it. I think that's about where it should be set to idle at 2,000. We'll start it up and see. I'll rotate the key a couple times, make sure it has fuel. I didn't like that. Oh, still a problem. Okay, need to go up a little bit higher, or it's because it's getting warm. Still it's a problem. Well, it wasn't the TPS sensor. Next is the plug boot. It has a little hole in it. We'll see if changing that fixes anything. And next after that is going to be the injector. So those parts should be here tomorrow. Maybe we'll check the JD tuner, see if it's doing it. So here it is with the JD tuner hooked up. Just a little tiny squirt. Let's turn it over, just see what happens. Okay, here is
Just the stock ECU hooked up, no JD tuner. Turn the key on, and then if you hit the start button, so something's wrong.
So somehow the JD tuner interrupts the signal and keeps the injector from squirting, but you can see it has been running a little bit rich when you look at this plug. So before, it would die whenever I blipped the throttle like that. So that problem's fixed. And I went ahead and put a new injector in, and that solved the problem of the injector hanging open whenever the fuel pump was on. And here's the crack in the spark plug boot, and it's right where the electrode connects. And that was my week. So bike's running good again. Can't wait to go out and ride some more.